I lost my husband very suddenly when I was 42 years old. And it just happened overnight. One day he was there, and the next day he was gone. My children had one day before that just said goodnight to their father, and they didn't know nothing beyond that.
Okay.
And it was very, very difficult to break it to them, to let them know what had happened. And I think now, when they've grown up, they tell me for the longest time they didn't even believe me. I was hiding a fact that their father had gone away and he would appear after many years. I was a single parent to my children when my children were 7 and 9. Uh, as a parent, I think it is your responsibility to ensure that you can get as much security as you can for your child to grow in a very healthy, open environment. I think that is one of the responsibility of a parent because it's we who brought them into the world. I'm a textile designer, and when my husband proposed to start this company, I had told him that I had been there, done it, and at 40 I was not going to struggle. So he needed to give me a platform. So he gave me 5 exhibitions with very strong visitors: Dr. Farooq Abdullah, Dr. Karan Singh, Richard Holkar, the Prince of Indore, the Maharana of Udaipur, and Dr. Farooq Abdullah again in October of 2012.
That's amazing.
And that is what he gave me. And maybe he had a premonition because on that exhibition he announced that from your next exhibition, I will not be coming with you. You will come on your own and you will manage your exhibitions on your own. A woman can still manage without a spouse. For a man to be without a wife in raising children, it's very difficult. I'm not saying there are not fathers who can raise their children very well. I'm not saying that. Don't get disappointed from where you expect and you don't get. Don't get disappointed and believe that nobody will stand by you. Somebody randomly will come into your life and you'll just say, why are you helping me so much? What have I done to deserve this?
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me here.
I'd like you to introduce yourself to our audience.
Hi, Saisha. Thank you for having me here. My name is Varuna Anand, and I am an entrepreneur. Uh, an entrepreneur who started at the age of 42. I have a company called the Splendor of Kashmir. We showcase shawls from Kashmir, and that is what I'm promoting, the art of shawl making from Kashmir. And I'm also a part of this organization called Fiki Flow, which I've been very keenly working with. And I was the chairperson of the organization in 2023-24. And I continue working with the Fiki Flow. So many are hats which we juggle. And I quite enjoy doing all what I'm doing.
You have so many feathers in your cap. You were Fiki Flow president, then you got in your interview with Times of India Society. The biggest cap is motherhood.
True that. Very well said.
So let's talk about motherhood today. And while I was discussing with a friend of mine regarding single mom, not many people talk about this publicly. So, what do you think about it? And what suggestion would you give to mothers out there or like fathers out there?
I think being a parent, a child requires both a mom and a dad. Sometimes life throws various challenges at you. Um, some things are in your control or some things are out of your control. And in case you are left, like in my situation, I was a single parent to my children when my children were 7 and 9. Uh, as a parent, I think it is your responsibility to ensure that you can get as much security as you can for your child to grow in a very healthy, open environment. I think that is one of the responsibility of a parent because it's we who brought them into the world, and for no fault of theirs should they be living in a insecure environment. So in my case, I lost my husband very suddenly when I was 42 years old, and it just happened overnight. One day he was there, and the next day he was gone. My children had one day before that just said goodnight to their father, and they didn't know nothing beyond that. And it was very, very difficult to break it to them, to let them know what had happened. And I think now, when they've grown up, they tell me for the longest time they didn't even believe me. I was hiding a fact that their father had gone away and he would appear after many years. So, this is a child's perception.
Right.
But like I said, um, scratch the surface anywhere else. There is a lot to worry about. So many people go through so many adversities. Adversity has to be dealt with. And that was my opinion. And that is how I moved forward with my children, where I was very sure I did not want them growing up in self sympathy. There was no sympathy we required. Yes, love, support, yes, but neither of us required sympathy. Not me, not my daughters. And I feel very proud to say that today they're both in college, but they don't carry a chip of sympathy on their shoulder. They carry a chip of, I can do this. If my mom could do it, I can do it. And that is what I wanted to inculcate in them. So
How did you break it to them?
So this is we are going back now 13 years. It was very, very difficult. When this happened, it came as a shocker to me as well because it was just like I said, it was a bolt out of the blue. He got sick one night, and technically we'd lost him the next night. And When this happened, my mind did not think beyond the fact that I need to protect my children. So I'm actually from Delhi, and that was only 10 years into my marriage. So 10 years I was in Jammu. And when I said why I'm from Delhi, is just to say that things were a little different from Delhi and Jammu.
Right.
Jammu thinking was still a little backward and primitive, may not be the right words, but maybe more conventional.
I agree with you. Not a lot of people want to talk about this.
Yes. So for me, it was that I put my foot down saying my children were never going to see their father when I was going to bring him back from hospital and do his last rites. I was very clear the girls were too little at 7 and 9. This was something they would have never got out of their mind. So the first thing I told a friend of mine was to go home, take the kids out of the house to her house, and I would get them back in the evening myself after all the last rites were done. And I'm very grateful that my in laws were very forward thinking. In spite of the shock they had gone through of losing their son, they supported me very strongly, saying, if she doesn't want it, so be it. We had old staff in the house who kept saying, you're making a very big mistake. I said, mistake or no mistake, this is a call I want to take. My kids will not see their father like this. Let them just have memories of whatever they have of their father, but this is not something they need to see. So that was it. After the last rites, in the evening, I went to pick up my children. My nephew came with me. I picked them up from my friend's place, and all I told them in the car was, "Baby, I'm sorry, but you'll never see Papa again." Because at that time, all I could explain to them was that God had called him. That's all I could say to them. I don't think it registered very well with the kids. They were a bit shocked. They were a bit. Uh, they couldn't fathom it. They couldn't fathom it. And like I said, for the longest time, one of my daughters told me that, "Mom, we thought you were lying, and Dad has just gone somewhere, and he will appear after very many years."
Yeah.
So this is how it happened. And honestly, the kids were so little that whilst all the mourning was going on in the house, The kids would just walk up to me and say, Mama, everybody keeps crying. Can we please go to a friend's house? So, morning, they would go to a friend's house. I had a friend from Delhi, one of my closest friends who had come. So, one of my daughters was staying with her in the hotel. She had just taken her from the house, and, she wouldn't keep her in the house. And my younger one, like I said, was so little that
She didn't understand.
she didn't understand. She didn't understand. She just wanted to know, why is everyone going on crying in the house? Why is Dadi crying? Why is Pua crying?
Right.
Why is Dada crying? So that's all she wanted to know. So it was tough. It was very tough. I too was going through my emotions. But like they say, a mother gets her defenses up, and my defenses at that point of time were only to protect my children.
Did you ever have a mom guilt that, you're not able to provide something that their father would could?
Very predominantly. Very predominantly. Um, my husband's everybody thinks a lot about their spouse or whatever. I'm not somebody who talks too much like that, but my husband was larger than life and flamboyant, and things were different with him. And for the longest time, I just kept thinking that I will never be able to give them what their father could have given them. It was a guilt which was there and very strongly there in my thinking and my perception. And lucky for my girls, maybe I would have done a lot more for them than I would have had my husband been there.
Right.
So everything I did for them was with this thought saying, had Praveen been there, maybe they would have got more. Had Praveen been there. Till few years back, I had very supportive in-laws. And I had my mother in law one day. I overheard this conversation she was having with my daughter, where she told my daughter that, you have no idea how blessed you are, because what your mother is doing for you, even your father couldn't have done more than this.
That
So,
is so sweet.
yeah, I know. It was a very extremely supportive, extremely supportive. They gave me a lot of strength. They gave me a lot of. You need all your strength to move forward at that time. So they gave me a lot of strength, and I believe, you cry, you have shoulders to cry on for some time, but not forever. So you have to move on in life. Such is life. Acceptance is the only way forward. So I read a couple of books which made a lot of sense to me at that point of time, and gave me the strength to move forward. If I had to recall the name of the book today, I may not be able to recall it as well. But I know there were certain things written in that book which um, actually told me that, okay, this has happened. It could be karma, it could be, I don't know, some past, price I had to pay for something, which, whatever. But I had to face the situation and live up to it. And my children were not at fault. I had to be the parent they could look up to. So I had to do that.
You just mentioned karma. So, do you actually believe in karma, destiny, God, spirituality?
I believe in all of this. I believe in karma. I believe in God. I got my greatest strength from God. I do remember questioning.
Why me?
Yes. Why me? Why me? Why do I have to get into these odd situations? So my life has been like that from the very beginning. Why me? I got married at 32. So there was peer pressure at my time. To be married at 32 was
Normal.
not something which was happening with everyone. But I married a man from a very well known family. I got married and I came to Jammu. People said, दिल्ली की लड़की है, जम्मू में सेटल नहीं होगी, वो भी हो गया. People said, दोनों इतने बड़े हैं, बच्चे नहीं होंगे, बच्चे भी हो गए, दो बच्चे भी हो गए. And in a span of 3 years, we had two children. So in every which way, God was kind. Praveen was in my life for a reason. I'm sure there was a uh, some kind of karmic baggage. Uh, Praveen is very responsible to make me who I am today. I always say my maiden name was Baba. As Varuna Baba, I could not have done what I have done today as Varuna Anand. And I watched Praveen very, very closely, and I learned a lot. And I think That was my NDA training with Praveen for those 10 years. So that's how I look at it.
Do you blame God sometimes?
No, not at all. Not at all. I don't blame God. I don't blame anyone. I just believe, if we believe in the philosophy of how they say that we are reborn to complete a task which we left in our previous birth. I was born in this birth to complete what I was supposed to face up to what I was supposed to. If I accept it gracefully and move on, I pass my test or I fail my test. So, spirituality and mythology and learning from mythology has taught me this. And I just believe we just have to go on because life doesn't wait for anyone. I mean, for no one. No one.
Agreed. You said society had their notions, and a lot of people said she's from Delhi ki ladki hai. What do you think? Did people actually help you and support you during your tough time when you lost your husband?
अ, जहाँ से उम्मीद थी, वहाँ से कुछ नहीं मिला। जहाँ से थॉट ही नहीं थी कि मुझे कोई हेल्प मिलेगी। I had so many random people who came and helped me without me realizing that they are helping me. It's now when I look back and I say they were just trying to support me. Um, uh, and I am perfectly, I have no bitterness in me. I have no grudges with anybody. It's just fine. I would not have been half the person I am today had I not gone through what I went through. So God is kind. He gave me the strength. He made me look forward. Made me look beyond. But honestly, there are so many good people in the world.
There are, no doubt.
Just we just have to believe in that. Don't get disappointed from where you expect and you don't get. Don't get disappointed and believe that uh, nobody will stand by you. Somebody randomly will come into your life and you'll just say, "Why are you helping me so much? What have I done to deserve this?"
That's your good karma.
So that's just where it just balances out. That's my learning in these. Um, I've been now married for 23 years. So 10 years I've lived with my husband in my home here in Jammu,
Right.
and 13 years I am in the home without him. So these figures speak a lot. You come to a home because of the person who you're married to, but to continue in the same home and probably live more years without your spouse, I think speaks volumes.
Volumes. Agreed. Like you said, that living 13 years without your spouse. Nowadays, we're living in this Gen Z generation where people don't have patience. If they have a fight with their spouse, they'll just give divorce. That's become so normal. So, what do you have to say to those kids?
You know, I have no sermon to give to anyone. I think I would simply say, you live once, do your हिसाब किताब ठीक से, नहीं तो अगले जन्म में और हिसाब किताब करना पड़ेगा. That's about all. Do what you believe in. If you've got children, then I would turn around and say, please be responsible because you need to be responsible to give your children stability. So be a responsible parent. It's not about poor me or poor them or poor anyone. Lots of things happen in life. And it's okay. It's okay. I think I wouldn't say it's very important to be patient. It's very, if you got to give to get. That's my mantra. First give and you will get. If you give 20 and you are getting even 5, that's great. But believe you me, if you stay constant on that 20, one day you'll get 50 back.
So, what do you have to tell the people out there, single mama, single dad? How should they do parenting and what is the right way to go about?
I think this was a disparity created by God. A woman uh, has more resilience, a woman has more strength. Uh, a woman can still manage without a spouse. For us, pause for a man to be without a wife in raising children. It's very difficult. I'm not saying there are not fathers who can raise their children very well. I'm not saying that. I'm just giving a kind of a ballpark example. Women being more resilient and being more strong, they tend to do the job better. I don't think there are any guidelines. Um, Having said that, I'm sure I'm not a perfect mom. Uh, I'm sure my kids would have something to say about I mean, there is firstly a generation gap
Right.
as a parent. There has to be a generation gap, no matter how cool or modern I may seem to someone, or maybe my children's friend can say, oh, your mom is so cool, but I am mom to my children. I'm sure I see certain things in them which I'll find faults in, and they see certain things in me which they'll find fault in. But that's what family is all about, as far as I'm concerned. This is part of growing up. And once the girls, I believe, once my girls are married and have their own children, I'll be their Bible to come to. I believe that very strongly.
Agreed. Um, Talking about finances, not many people, like you said, your daughter was 7 and the other one was 9. People don't know how to like manage their finances. They have to make sure their kid is in college, school. So, what is your take on that?
So, my take on this is karma, God, strength. These are my words. I don't know how I managed. I'm a textile designer by profession. I worked as a textile designer. I've never worked as an entrepreneur. Um, initially I was freelancing for a lot of people, and then I joined our family business. So when I joined my family business with my brother and father, and we were exporting home textiles to Europe, I was designing for them. So my job was just as a designer, never an entrepreneur. So I had never been in the shoes I was put in suddenly. 2013 onwards, I was the driving force behind the Splendor of Kashmir, a concept totally conceptualized by my husband. And now I was to take it forward, not knowing, I didn't even know how to write a check. I used to think, when I would go to my father, I would think, my God, he's a genius. He knows which number is a check number and which number is the number which you're not supposed to use. You have an idea about your parents, you hero worship them. I was in the same boat, and I was happy to hero worship my parents and everything. It was very hard. It seems very simple. I was very savvy with my computer and my net banking and all of that. I used to do all of that. But the nuances of a business, I didn't know how to really go about it. I learned on the job. I learnt on the job, and I came across a lot of people. And I remember this instance when this gentleman said, for how long are you going to keep crying that, I've been thrown into a business, I can't do this? He says, get a head on your shoulders. You're a businesswoman. This company is yours. You're the sole proprietor. Stock inward and outward. What's so difficult? You're intelligent. You seem like an intelligent woman. Why can't you manage? That was the last time I really cried about something. And I said, yeah, it's actually no big deal. It's very simple. I'm not an accountant that I need to write books for a CA. If I can understand it in a simple language of noting it down in a book, that's good enough. And I can go to my CA and say, this is what I've sold, this is what my stock was, this is what I've done. And he can make my balance sheet. We're going good.
Yeah.
So it was part of learning, it was learning on the job. And that's exactly how my life moved forward.
To all those people, for our audience, can you tell us a little bit about your brand?
So I have a brand called the Splendor of Kashmir, and we promote the art of shawl making from Kashmir. How this came so naturally to me is because of my background with textiles. I'm a textile designer.
Right.
And when my husband proposed to start this company, I had told him that I had been there, done it. And at 40, I was not going to struggle. So he needed to give me a platform.
Right.
So he gave me 5 exhibitions with very strong visitors. I had Dr. Farooq Abdullah launch me in 2011. That was my first exhibition, which we did. And 5 exhibitions back to back: Dr. Farooq Abdullah, Dr. Karan Singh, Richard Holkar, the Prince of Indore, the Maharana of Udaipur, and Dr. Farooq Abdullah again in October of 2012.
That's amazing.
And that is what he gave me. And maybe he had a premonition, because on that exhibition, he announced that from your next exhibition, I will not be coming with you. You will come on your own and you will manage your exhibitions on your own.
Okay.
So, of course, that was reason enough for us to have a fight at night. But did I know that it was a premonition? It was actually reality which would happen. The day he got sick, he booked me an exhibition at the Claridge's for December. And
Did you attend it?
I conducted the entire exhibition. And when I say people helped, the Maharana of Udaipur was my chief guest, and he had invited 50 people as his personal guests for the exhibition.
And you were one of them.
I was hosting the exhibition, and he was kind enough to invite people for the exhibition. So that was his guest list,
That
which
was a
came for the
private
exhibition.
one.
Yeah. So that was on the first day, it was a private preview for his guests. And that was the time where a lot of people who hadn't met me were still coming to condole to me. I did that exhibition for 3 days, and we were a sellout.
Wow.
We were a sellout.
That is amazing. God is genuinely kind.
You've just got to look. If you look for negative, you'll find negative. If you look for positivity, you look for little positive chances, you will see how blessed you are, no matter what.
How did you handle yourself during that tough time? And how did you manage your mental health?
Uh, I come from a time where I think too much emphasis on mental health was not given. So it was a time where we were told, "ये तो करना ही पड़ेगा. You have to face it." And I was brought up like that. "ये तो करना पड़ेगा. Nothing to cry about it. चलो, आगे चलो." So I looked at life in that perspective. I'm very blessed. I have an amazing set of friends. Amazing. People who have stood by me, maybe maybe counseled me so much. So many of them, and been my strength. When I say so many of them, I'm not somebody who has 100 friends, as I can call my immediate friends or whatever, but people who stood by me. There were a lot, and they kind of took care of my mental health. Maybe somewhere down the line, I meet people and I get into conversation with them, and they said, you didn't give yourself time to grieve. You still hold grief.
But do you
inside.
actually feel that?
I don't, but I've been to psychics. I love going to psychics and tarot readers and things like that. So a lot of time people tell me I'm holding a lot of grief inside me. So I'm open to healing, and well, I have been going through some processes of healing now.
Okay, that's amazing.
Yeah, I have been. I have been, because uh, it is those people who made me realize that you only thought about your children. You never thought about your own grief. So, fair enough. I think life moves on, and you learn a lot, and you move forward.
Do you take me time and do you actually reflect in words?
A lot of it. Now that I am, both my daughters are in college. I don't actually have never given myself space for too much me time, but yes, there is me time. I'm very involved with an organization called Fiki Flow, and to me, the best part about Fiki Flow is that it is my platform to do what somebody else did for me, to reach out and help people who need it.
That's such a good way to look at.
So Fiki Flow in these 4 years has changed my life diametrically, and um, the smile on even that one woman's face where she looks at you and says, "Really, आपके साथ ऐसा हुआ था? आपको सुन के तो हमें बहुत हिम्मत मिलती है." It's an amazing feeling to be able to do something for someone, to be able to get them some education, to be able to get them some exposure, to be able to show them a path forward. It's my give back time. And this is such a fabulous platform for that. So, 4 years of Fiki Flow, I'm very extensively involved with its working, in spite of the fact that I've served as chairperson in 2023-24. And I continue to work with the organization, and I love it.
We'll move forward to your daughters. Have you ever had those tough conversations with them, or have you talked about mental health? How's their life in college? How does all of that feel to them?
So, yes, like any other parent, yes, these are questions which are glaring in the eyes, and these do come up. I try to give my children as secure an environment as I could, but the loss of a parent or the trauma, what they faced at their life, at that juncture of their life, they need to come to terms with it. And uh, maybe now, maybe sometime back, I may not have been very open to. Um, if I may say, my mental health is also uh, COVID created. Those COVID years, it's more of a part of your generation than our generation. हमारी mental health एक थप्पड़ और एक बड़ी जबरदस्त चल पड़ती थी. हमारी mental health बिल्कुल ठीक हो जाती थी.
But आजकल people are getting anxious. People are they're getting into depression. This was not normal at your time, but for the kids right now, it's become a big deal. It's called a pandemic of depression nowadays.
I agree with you. And then it at that time, parents like me, who never believed in the concept of counseling, agreed to it, saying, okay, if I can't get a point across and you're comfortable talking to someone else, as long as it's good for you, it's good for me. So it took me a while to understand that. I'm open to it. And my kids have always had the freedom to talk to me about anything. I grew up with a very open environment, in spite of the fact my father was I come from a very traditional Punjabi family, and I'm married into a traditional family, but they were open to things. My father in law, my mother in law, they never made me feel like I've lost my husband and I need to change the way I dress up or I need to change the way I move around. Nothing. They just told me, do what gives you happiness. Yes, one thing they told me is we never want to see you in white clothes. Don't ever wear them. So that was very, very supportive. My kids were very particular, where they said, Mom, no, not white. Please don't wear it. And coincidentally, white was a color which I used to wear very often. It was one of my favorite, I would love wearing white. So, because it made a difference to my children, I stopped. I stopped because I was not here to harm or hurt anyone. That was not the intention, or to keep making them grieve about something. In that respect, um, I think mental health is an issue which must be addressed. I would tell all parents, my generation, that we have not gone through it, but it is something which needs attention. And at any point of time, if you think your child requires some kind of a support, please give it to them. Give it to them. I think it's only fair. No, they shouldn't be. I have never kept anything from my children. To tell you honestly, um, when Praveen passed, we had to go to submerge his ashes. Now, I wanted my girls to be a part of that. But what do I tell them? What were we going to do? I told them we were going for a picnic. So the whole family was going, and we were going in so many cars. We went up to Aknur, and the girls came with me. I just wanted them there at that point of time. And many years later, when they saw it in a movie, they asked me, Mom, what did you take us for? Did you take us for this? And I'm like, yeah, I did. Because I wanted you there. And after that, हम श्राद्ध करते हैं, ये करते हैं. I have never stepped back in telling my daughters that you should do it for your father. So the girls know about it and they do it. We have our good times and bad times. There are some days which are very heavy, which are particularly my anniversary, Praveen's birthday. Those are heavy days. And few years back, Diwali came. It was 10 years to prevent that Diwali, and my older one was very, very upset that day. And I remember talking to her and saying, "It's a festival, and why are you like this?" She says, "What is it you want me to celebrate? The fact that we are celebrating Diwali after 3 years, or should I be celebrating 10 years to my father?" So these are tough times. These are tough times. It's been tough on the kids, it's been tough on me. But we're okay. We're okay. We're okay.
That's really nice. You've been so positive. How do you handle all of this?
Positivity has to be seeked. Um I'll tell you something. I'm a very strong believer of God. My faith in God is very strong, and I think I learned my lessons from there. I have spoken for people who know me. I've been like a broken record where I say there was a serial I saw called Anthi Arambhe. It's the story of Mahakali. It's the evolution of Parvati, from Parvati to Mahakali. It's a 100 episode serial. It had changed my life. I saw it for the second time, COVID time. To me, um, that's growing up, that's learning, that's seeking within and finding your strength. So every woman harbors that strength. We are just not aware about it. So life is tough. Life can be very, very tough. But like I said, we've taken birth again. There is a karmic debt to settle, and you can't run away from it. There was a line Lord Shiva says to Parvati, where he says, "In life, you have only two options. कि जिंदगी की जो तकलीफें आती हैं आप उसमें भाग लो, एज इन बी अ पार्ट ऑफ इट, या आप उससे भाग लो, रन अवे फ्रॉम देम." सो ही सेज जब आप भाग लोगे उनमें, इट्स द बिगनिंग टू द एंड ऑफ दोज प्रॉब्लम्स. बट इफ यू रन अवे फ्रॉम देम, अगर आप उनसे भागोगे, they will hound you like a Frankenstein and a demon for the rest of your life. Everybody only has two choices. It's up to you how you want to address it. The problems are not going to run away because you're running from them. You've got to face them. So I think lots of learning comes from things like this. And like I said, for whoever knows me, this is an example I have quoted like a million times.
Okay. But it's the words are so strong and it's beautifully said.
I mean, I heard it in a serial, if you can believe it.
Yeah.
But you can find your strength in anything. Maybe you're reading a comic, maybe something written in that could make a difference. So many times when we're scrolling on Instagram, you come across reels. That one reel could touch your soul because it just said something you wanted to hear at that time. That to me is destiny. That to me is God, where you've got your message to move forward. So you've got to look for those small little cues which come in your life and make them your strength to move forward.
So, how are your girls doing at the moment?
So my girls are good. I have Anahita, who's 21. She's my elder daughter, and Anya, my younger one, is 19. Anahita will turn 22 this year, and Anya will be 20. Will finishing her teens, moving into 20 now, and they're studying in Shivnadar University in Greater Noida, and both doing separate things. One is pursuing history honors, and the other is doing BBA. So they have no restrictions from my side to do whatever they would want to do. But yes, at some point, I would want them to be my strength in pursuing and strengthening my business as well. So I'll give them time to learn, and then come back and join me.
Would you like to give any tips to single mom or single fathers out there?
The only thing I would like to say is you have been entrusted with a responsibility. Please take care of your children. You also, in time, will heal, will get over your problems, whatever the problems are. I believe for a single parent, kids are their greatest strength and their greatest weakness, which is how I look at my children. There is nothing right, there is nothing wrong. Just protect yourself, protect your kids, and I don't think anyone should dwell on sympathy. Sympathy takes you nowhere. Sympathy robs you of your positivity. Positivity is the way forward. Uh, You've been faced with a situation, face it, and things will start sorting out, things will start getting better. Believe in yourself. Everybody has strength within. Everybody has strength within. Just believe in yourself and move forward, is all I would say.
Thank you so much. It was lovely talking to you.
Thank you so much for having me here. It has been absolutely wonderful. And I must say, Saisha, you made me speak so much, which I don't think I have ever spoken about so openly and so explicitly.
I'd like to share something with you. I was talking to this person. I'd not like to name them. I said that, I want to interview a single mom because this is something that we don't talk in our city. And in general, we don't talk in India because it's seen as something as if we're doing some kind of harm to the society. And that person said, no, there's nobody who's going to talk about this in Jammu. And that's when I had you in mind. And we got this interview and we've done it's lovely meeting you.
So, if I may say it, as strong as I am, I have seen tears in your eyes and I have held back tears in my eyes. So, emotion is part and parcel of our lives. We are all strong, but inside we are all weak. We do need people to give us strength. But when you asked me these questions, I believe maybe it'll help someone.
It will.
Going through some
Definitely.
situation, it will help someone. So I was happy to do that, but like I said, you're the only one who I have answered these questions, knowing very well publicly I'm giving these answers. I have never spoken so explicitly. Thank you very much. It's been absolutely wonderful being here with you.
Thank you. Thank you.
God bless.
Like,
Share
subscribe.
to dopamine high.
Thank you.
Thank you.